Welcome. I'm Denver from Flying Pig Games, and in this video, I'm going to be unboxing First to Fight, which is the Battle for Poland 1939. First to Fight is an expansion to Old School Tactical Volume 5, so you do need Old School Tactical Volume 5 to be able to play First to Fight. First to Fight and Old School Tactical 5 will be available in our web store in the beginning of May of 2026. They are on the boat on the way here right now, and they should arrive in mid-April. So if you're excited, if you missed the Kickstarter and you would like to get a copy, they're going to be available in our web store for United States customers in May. You can still pre-order. I'm going to drop that link in the description below. If you're not familiar with the Old School Tactical series, it is designed by Shane Logan, and he also does all the art for it, and it's just gorgeous. These are two-player war games set in World War II. They're at the tactical level. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Great, so like I said before, we are unboxing First to Fight, which is the expansion to Old School Tactical Volume 5. Old School Tactical Volume 5 is set in France, 1940. First to Fight is going to be set in 1939 in Poland. So this is an expansion. You can see it's a little bit smaller than the other Old School Tactical boxes if you're familiar with our series. Like I mentioned before, this is at the tactical level. This one's really fun because not only are you fighting in Poland, but you get to fight with some of those really interesting Polish forces from the early war of World War II, such as like an armored train, which is really unique and fun to fight with. This game, not only does it come in this gorgeous telescoping box, you're going to get a 30 by 41 inch mounted map. As always, this is map number 12, if you're counting with the Old School Tactical maps. They are infamous. They're just absolutely gorgeous. They have 1-inch hexes. You're going to get 2 die-cut counter sheets of units, and then also different admin counters that you're going to need. 17 unit data cards. I'll get into those in a minute, but these data cards are great. They illuminate what is already on the chit. So whatever you have in front of you, that information is a little bit bigger in front of you on the card, so you don't have to look up some of that information. In addition, when it comes to armored vehicle combat, there's some more information on there. I'll get into that in a second. There's also the full color playbook with 14 different scenarios. So it does require the Old School Tactical Volume 5. It's not compatible with any of the other volumes. This only works with Old School Tactical Volume 5. So here is the box. Awesome action shot on the back with a description and what comes inside. So we recommend this is for ages 14 plus, but then again, that's up to your own discretion. 2 players. And it takes anywhere from 45 minutes to 5 hours, depending on what scenario you're choosing to play. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the box. So I want to start with those unit data cards. Remember I said that there are 17, and you're going to be able to use these for either, side that you're on. Here are the Germans. Here are the Poles. Okay, let me get some examples here. Here's a Stug for the Germans. You have this unit data card is going to illuminate some of that information already on the chit, and then in addition to that, you're going to get some of these tables that you need to be able to do armed combat. So it's just going to reduce the amount of flipping you have to do through the rule book, and then also on different player aid cards. Oh, cool. Here's that armored train I was talking about. How cool is this? So these are awesome colored linen back cards. So you're going to be able to use these with the game. If you're familiar with the Old School Tactical series, you're going to be familiar with these cards. So here are the counters. There are 2 gorgeous colored counter sheets here. And here's that armored train. Get some more close-ups of that. Here's some of the Germans, and also some of those counters that you will need. Obviously, you still need some of the other counters from Old School Tactical Volume 5, but here are the supplemental counters for that. In the back are the wrecks of all of those vehicles. Pretty cool. So 2 sheets of counters to go with First to Fight, and also you'll just need some of those counters from Old School Tactical Volume 5, obviously. Okay, let's go ahead and go through the map, everybody's favorite. So So like I said, it is a mounted map board. They're always big. They're always beautiful. You might not use the entire map for every scenario. More than likely, you're not going to. That's why we have these really great border strips that are available. We have some for Old School Tactical Volume 5. So as you can see, gorgeous map. I'm going to give you guys some better shots of that later in the video. Here's map number 12. Amazing art. So Shane always on the edges puts, this is really helpful, but he's putting these different terrain identifying hexes at the top, and then also their movement costs. He also puts the turns at the top. He puts the impulse points around the edges of the map, and then also the casualty and victory points around the edges of the map. So it really reduces the amount of play space that you need, despite it being a very large map. For those of you who have never played the Old School Tactical series, something that makes it really, really fun are the impulse points. So this is going to be something that is going to be scenario dependent, and you're going to roll them at the beginning of every turn, and it's going to determine how many impulse points you have. Think of those impulse points as your currency for what you're going to be able to spend to use to activate your units and do all the things that you want to do, such as move and fire, assault, etc. So those are kind of like your action points that you're going to spend to be able to use when you're playing the different turns. So those can vary. I mean, you could have anything from, double-digit numbers to single digits to really low single digits. And it's a fun way to fold in that fog of war aspect where you really never know what you're going to be working with every turn. All right, lastly, here's the playbook. Gorgeous full color playbook as usual with all of these scenarios inside. Like I said, there are 14. In addition, at the beginning, there's going to be some information here about the Battle for Poland, some of the different terrain types. For example, there are brush, wheat fields, shell holes, railways, obviously, farms, etc., things like that. Depending on the theater that you're playing with Old School Tactical, you're going to have different types of terrain. For example, like Stalingrad is more urban. The expansion for Old School Tactical Volume 1. Old School Tactical Volume 3 is the Pacific Theater. While there's not naval combat, there is more ocean in that as well. The Old School Tactical Volume 4, the Italian theater, had vineyards, things like that. So anyway, it's always interesting to see how those different types of terrain affect gameplay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read you one of the scenarios. So scenario 4, draw sabers. This is September 1st, 1939. In the forest of the Pomeranian Corridor, Pomorska Cavalry Brigade was ordered to delay the advance of German forces moving through the Chichola Forest toward the Vistula River. I apologize for my pronunciation. Outside the village of Krjanti, squadrons of the 18th Pomeranian Ulan Regiment, mounted on horseback and armed with sabers, carbines, and a few machine guns, encountered German infantry in the open. Seizing the moment, the Polish cavalry launched a surprise saber charge. However, German armored cars and machine gun teams were nearby. This scenario recreates the mythical clash at Krjanti, a cavalry assault against infantry caught off guard and not against tanks. So I think we all learned about these, like he says, mythical clashes in school when it came to Poland in the early war. So anyway, it's an interesting scenario. So that is scenario 4. There are 14 to play with, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck in addition to the scenarios in Old School Tactical Volume 5. So that's it for the unboxing for First to Fight. Like I said, it is going to be in stock in our web store in early May. Those of you who backed the Kickstarter, you're going to be getting your games in North America at the end of April. And those of you in the rest of the world, it's going to be early May. And thank you guys for making that a really successful Kickstarter. If you're adding to your collection, coming up this year, we have Old School Tactical Volume 6. So quite a few games that will be in your collections now for Old School Tactical. So Volume 6 is going to be the African Theater. Like I said, this is Volume 5. If you're interested, you can still pre-order. I will drop that link in the description below. Thanks for watching.